welcome, Winston, and thanks for being here. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, just introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Winston Carrington. I came to England in 1958 from Barbados. I was 7 years of age. I've lived here predominantly most of my life. I spent 10 years on the continent. But yeah, I've done all my schooling, everything I've done here in England.
Looking back on your adult life, what is the one thing that you would have done differently that would have given you a great satisfaction, would have made you feel a bit more?
Thinking about that, to me, I think the greatest thing that I could have done, that I would have really should have done more of, was education. And the reason I say education is because education is just like, we've all got a basket, yeah? Life is a basket, for me. My life is a basket. And all baskets are woven, yeah? So they're porous, yeah? So they won't hold water, yeah? For me, all education does is just lines that basket, yeah? So it holds a little bit of water for a short amount of time because it's so thin. If you leave it in there long enough, the water will still pour through. So the reason I say that is because I didn't get my degree till I was 53, you know, and I got a BA Honours, which I'm quite proud of still, you know. And for me, to be able to do it when I was 53, I know in my heart now I could have done it when I was 23. But because of the way Webster Street, Old Secondary Modern, certain things that were being played out in Moss Side, and I'm not saying anything that against anything or anyone, the certain way that I was shown, I went down a certain path, okay? And what I'm trying to say is, like, my mother and her friends, yeah, and her partner, Mr. Pearson, worked. They worked hard, okay? They worked. My mother at Ferrantes, Mr. Pearson at Dunlop's, okay? Yet still, as a youth, yeah, I ran away from home quite early because my mother was very strict. My mother was, you couldn't bend her. There was no bending with my mother. She was rigid, okay? I ran away from home, so I used to go to a place called the Mountain House, which was not far from here. And I used to see men gambling, yeah? My mother and father is making maybe £20 between them a week, if they're lucky, yeah? I'm watching men gamble and dash away £100 a night. So I'm saying to myself, well, and don't forget, in them days, you could buy a house for £600, £300, yeah? I'm watching men gamble, Parapinto, yeah? Whatever, yeah? Cards, whatever. They're spending dough what my mother and father cannot ever think of having, yeah? So why then, if I'm watching the men, because the women are saying to me, get an education, do this, do that, rare, rare, rare. However, the men in my life that I saw were making mad money on the street. They didn't have no education. They didn't need to go to know this, so they were just making dough. So to me, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make dough, yeah? I didn't want to, you can't come telling me. And I'm being serious. When I was growing up, I used to look at my mum, and even one time I said to her, God rest my mum in soul, and it hurt me when I think about it sometimes, what I said things. And one time I looked at my mum and said to her, listen, I'm a man. I'm growing up to this. I was about 17. I was growing up and said, look, I'm growing up to be a man, not a woman. So what can you tell me? And it hurt me now thinking about it, and I've thought about it many times since, obviously, and I regret saying that. But however, it's a fact. We need positive men in our boys' lives because boys grow up to be men, and you're not growing up to be a woman. I'm no disrespect what I'm saying. I'm being serious. In my life, that's how it was. So, yes, education, because what that would have done, when I got my degree, it allowed me to meet certain people in a different way, in a different place, okay? Which normally I would never have met. Okay?
Did it help open up kind of different
It
eyes?
opened up. What it did, meeting those people helped me to start up my own film company. So Carrington Films, although we don't do a lot of work, we're just very small. But still, it allows me, my satisfaction of saying, even if it's only me and my son, which a lot of the times it is, I have a film company which people recognise, and people call me to go and do work under Carrington Films. You know? So for me, education.
So we just talked about your education and getting that and the satisfaction that gave you. What interactions have you had with people or different groups and institutions that are giving you the confidence to make you, get involved in making more life-challenging or life-changing, I should say, opportunities for more people in the UK, the legacies that it's leaving behind, that kind of thing?
Yeah, for me, because I did the film and media degree, yeah, but Papa did a performing arts degree as well. And for me, when I actually was in uni for the last year, I was getting all kind of offers to do this and do that. And I sat there and I thought, hold on a minute. The reason I came to uni was not really for me. At first it was, yeah, but I think as the time went by, it was more of I wanted to bring people where I was as a child and introduce them to the beauty of what I was feeling as a filmmaker. Okay, so what I did, I worked at City College in Manchester. So he had an enrichment program back in the day at City College. So what I did, I set up a little film class with City College where I would get so many people would come in every week and we would make films from their point of view. So I met a lot of Asians, a lot of Chinese children, and in fact, the one that really got me is that I did a lot of work with this girl who had Asperger's syndrome. And we made some amazing films together from her point of view, just allowing her to write the whole thing. Me and her would sit and she would write it. And even when it looked weird, I'd just say, right, let's film it the way you see it. Yeah. And we did some amazing stuff. So that gave me more of a thing to want to work with children, because I was thinking, well, if someone had come to me when I was 14, 15, instead of showing me a pocket full of money, had come to me with a camera and said to me, listen, let's go make a film. Yeah, then I think I would have done that as well. So to me, that's what I want to do. I want to help children know that come from the area or anywhere in the world that you can do it. You do not have to be this follow the crowd. You can be an individual and you can help society. So really that's what I would say for that one.
Now, looking forward to what you'd like the UK government to change in legislation that could give more of our people better opportunities. When I say our people, I'm talking of people of African Caribbean heritage. What do you see as ways forward?
Well, first of all, for me, knowing, them giving us some kind of educational thing in the schools to say, well, look, this is where there's not one brick or one piece of mortar in this country that's not got slave blood on it. Okay? That's where I would go. And I would have the government actually putting that into school legislation so they know about slavery, know what we have contributed to this country, And the reason I say that is because I went to Manchester Museum the other day with my grandson. And if you see my grandson's got tight, curly, blonde hair. Yeah, if you didn't look at his nose and his lips, you'd think he was a little white boy. Well, he is. He's light-skinned. He's from my grandson. And I went up there thinking that they would have something in there like they have in Liverpool, even a little section, and there was nothing about the Caribbean and about slavery. And I actually had to ask them, why not? Because seriously, I'm not being funny. It's a fact. There's not one piece of brick or mortar in this country that's not got slave blood on it. So why don't everyone else know that? Then we can move forward. Then our children can realise that we have contributed to this country. And before the slavery, we had black people come into this country. So it's not just about slavery. It's about letting them know. So for me, the only thing I think that would help greatly would be to allow our black children to understand that, you're not just here by choice. You're not here by accident. You're here by design, right? Through the slavery. You didn't come by choice, right? We came here through slavery via the Windrush. Okay? Because if slavery never happened in if they didn't have war in World War II, and from this trying to take over Africa and this and that, okay? Because you've got to remember how all these wars come about. Yeah? They don't just happen. And if you look at the history of it all, you'll see that a lot of it was because they were trying to take over parts of Africa, and they didn't want that. Poland wanted to do this, and they want to do that all over Africa. Not India, not China, Africa, again. So if the truth is told, so that's what I would say. That's where I would go with the government. I'd say, listen, you know what? This needs to be taught in the schools. Yeah, and let's see what happens then.
Well, that brings it back to the point that you were saying about education. It's all about education.
Also all about education and learning. It always. And that's the funny thing. Until I went to uni, I didn't always that. I just walked around the road like that. I still walk around like but at least I do that on purpose now, not because I didn't know any different. Yeah, seriously, because I think it's about us relearning now ourselves, retraining our brain, retraining our children's brains to know that they are part of this fabric, that they're part of this earth. My mother died at 90 in this country. She came here when she was 30 odd. What more do you want? What more do you have to give?
Absolutely. Let me just ask you about talking about opportunities and what the government may want to do, legislation. Now ask you about what do you think we can do together with other people, other groups, different groups or institutions to make these positive changes to build a better future, not just for obviously the wider society, but obviously for those of African Caribbean heritage.
What can we do? Well, just talk to our children. Really, for me, it's about education. It's about not education just going to a big building now. I'm talking about knowledge, facts, not faith, facts and knowledge. Yeah. I don't want to go down the faith route because I'm not here to talk about that. For me, it's about knowledge. Yeah. It's about telling the facts. And when our children know the facts, yeah, things can change. Brexit, are you talking towards Brexit kind of thing, or were you just mean it in general?
Well, I'm talking in general. I will ask you a question about Brexit, but no, please carry on.
It's like for me, right, Brexit was fought on immigration, okay? People forget that. It was fought on two things, immigration and selling the National Health Service. They were the two things Brexit was sold on. For one, when she went to America, right, I'm not going to don't get into this, please. When that young lady went to America, that we have as Prime Minister, that beautiful lady that we have as a Prime Minister, went to America, she sold the National Health Service then, okay? The Brexit thing, right, is a deflection for selling the National Health Service. That's all I've got to say about Brexit. Seriously. It's wound me up. Brexit winds me up. Because I know, right, it didn't need to be, because we've had this with Enoch Powell. rivers of blood, etc., etc., etc. I'm hearing this all again. To me, I hear the same rhetoric all the time. It's the same thing, you know. They want us out of there. First of all, they'll take away our human rights, okay? Because of Europe, we are being able to stand up to the government, okay? It's important that people know this, you know. To me, yeah, they've got it all planned, because when people plan here, they plan for hundreds. We plan for when we get up in the morning, what we're going to wear today or what we're going to do today. They plan for 100 years, 1,000 years down the line. So all this is being planned. This is not just something that's just come up overnight with Nigel Farage and rare. Nah, man, this is something that they've planned. Because they want to come out of Europe. Because to come out of Europe allows America. Because don't forget, America has wanted to get into this country for a long time. They've wanted our National Health Service for a long time. They want to privatise it. Because that's where the money is. Because it's all about finance.
But how do you think that's going to affect us in the local communities, Caribbeans, Africans?
Well, to be quite honest, I don't think it's going to do anything different, because I can't see anything different happening for us, because we're always at the bottom end of the market. We're the ones that they don't even think about us. We're not even on their radar. So how is it going to affect us? We're going to get the same rubbish that we've always got. I cannot see it changing, nothing for us. Even if they stay, if they go, I can't see nothing changing, right? Because if it was going to change, it would have changed already for the amount of time we've been here and what we've contributed to this country. If it was going to change, it would have changed already. It's going to take a brand new set of people in power to change it. But the current people that we have in power, even so-called Labour, are not saying nothing for us. Yeah.
Can I just ask you something? How do you think the political will of Europe has changed? Because with Brexit, we've seen a lot of new neoconservatism coming out, which of course affects people of, let's say, more melanated skin, Africans, Caribbeans, but there's of course been an influx with refugees. The immigration rhetoric has been whipped up all across Europe. What do you feel about that?
Well, for me, I remember going to Copenhagen in 1975, okay? And we would get the odd comment, but generally welcoming. For me, Brexit has opened the door for the far right, okay, throughout Europe, okay? And I can see this, what happened in the 40s, happening again in Europe. I'm seriously, because to me, that's what I said to you, it's all done by design. Yeah, it's not happened just so. There's a power that wants to get in control, and it's the far right. It's their time. They think it's their time now. We've had long enough now. We've not done anything. They want to do something about it. Yeah, and that's how it is, you know. And for me, like I said, it's sad, but, you know, sometimes we have to go back to where we come from.
What do you think about what's happening with people like Raheem Sterling?
Well, you see, the thing is, right, we again, right, we're at the bottom of the chain. Don't care what we do, yeah. When we do good, it's like back in the day, when we did good, we were British, yeah, GB, because then it was Great Britain, yeah, and we was Great Britain. And when we did anything wrong, yeah, we were the other. And it's still the same, you know. Yes, we have got more black people in football, in sport in general, but also that's kind of heightened the racism as well. Because there's a lot of people out there that feel really badly that our people are doing so well. You know, they don't like it. Don't care how, you look at the papers, the newspapers, but especially around sport, around racism in football. I mean, we've got racism in netball. You know, up to the other day, you know, we've got racism in ice skating. The French girl the other day that did the forward flip, a somersault, right? they've now made that illegal because it's only her and one other black girl that can do it. So they've made that, it's an illegal move. Yeah? So these are things that we're up against all the time. Don't care how much we excel. Yeah? They always find a way. And when I say they, I'm talking the powers of Europe and the powers that be. Yeah? They find a way of bringing us down, because at the end of the day, you've got to remember, when a child is in the mother's womb, okay, the thoughts that that mother has is what the child picks up, okay? So when you're in a certain environment, yeah, and you're getting all this going on in the background and even more now in the foreground, yeah, you're getting all these people being born still thinking that we are monkeys, that we are this and we're that they're giving us a lie, when they didn't, because without us, this country, when I first came here, right, and I know Europe again, yeah, with Brexit, it was through Europe that we had to clean up our air, yeah, because when I first came here, when it's winter time, say from November, right up to say now, yeah, if you put your hand in front of your face some mornings or some evenings, you couldn't see your hand for smog. It was Europe that told them they had to clean their act up. So Brexit again, you know. So there's a lot going on, you know. We as the West Indians living here in England, and myself personally, because I can't talk about any other West Indian, I can only speak for myself. And all these things that I've just said is from my point of view, okay, as someone who's lived here all his life. There's good things happening in England, yeah, because I met my children's mothers in England. I've got some beautiful children, you know. I've met some beautiful people, white, Asian, Chinese, African, all in England, yeah. So on a basic, yeah, we've got beautiful people. We are all beautiful people. However, what the government is doing, yeah, is making it so that the 2% or 10% or whatever it is of people are getting the say, yeah, so which is separating us, yeah, and we've got to stop that. We have got to stop them, let them separating us. We have got to stand up. And you know, when they have marches against the National Front, I went the other day to a march, and there was only me and 2 other West Indians there. All the rest were white English people. And I had to say, you know, because the girl was saying, rare, 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 to this woman. And I went, well, what are you talking about? She goes, oh, rare, rare. I said, let me tell you something. Yeah? I said, when I first came in, I told her my story. And this is a little white, little blonde-haired girl. Yeah? And I said to her, let me explain something to you, right? When I came here in 1958, yeah, we helped clean up this place, okay? And if you don't believe me, just go and look at the history of the National Health Service and also the coal mining industry, which never gets talked about. We had a lot of black men down in the pits. Not many people talk about that. I know, I can think of Baggy right now, one of the guys from Mossad that used to work in the collieries. Okay, I know loads of black men that worked in the pits. So not only did we help in the National Health Service, we also helped power the country. So you're ill, we looked after you, and when you wanted your energy, we give it to you. And this is how you treat us. What we've got to remember, we are the survivors of an atrocity. We are the survivors of an atrocity called slavery. So we are the strongest. And we have to remember that and know it. Not believe it in any faith or nothing. Know it. That when we look at each other, yeah, we see our ancestors. And basically that's how I see myself in England.
Thank you very much, Winston, Carrington. Thanks for sharing some knowledge, history, facts with us on the African Caribbean Heritage Digital Archives project. Thank you very much.
Can I say thank you for giving me this opportunity? Honestly, it's just really humbled me. Really humbled me, yeah, because I never thought I'd ever get this opportunity to say that, and I'd like to say thank you all for allowing me to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.